Oscilloscopes are very powerful tools that can measure analog voltages, high frequency signals, radio frequency signals, and many more. The magic happens both inside of the oscilloscope and on the probe contacts. Probe settings are incredibly important, especially when working on different oscilloscopes. Today, let's discuss probe attenuation, what it is, how it works, and how to change it. What is probe attenuation? Probe attenuation is a feature that reduces a signal's voltage before it reaches the oscilloscope input. By lowering the voltage level, the scope can safely measure signals that might otherwise exceed its input range, preventing the distortion of the signal or even damage to the instrument. Common attenuation types include 1x, 10x, and 100x settings. For example, a 10x setting reduces the signal by a factor of 10, meaning if the real signal is 10 volts, the oscilloscope only receives 1 volt. Some oscilloscopes will automatically scale the reading so you still see 10 volts on the display, others will not. Think of the oscilloscope like switching between gallons and liters. You still have the same amount of water, the numbers just look a little different depending on the scale. 1 gallon is about 3.78 liters, but nothing about the water changed. In the same way, attenuation doesn't change the actual voltage in the circuit. The probe just scales what the oscilloscope shows. If the scope expects the wrong attenuation setting, the values will look incorrect, just like confusing liters and gallons. Changing probe attenuation settings. Probe attenuations can appear differently depending on the oscilloscope and probe model, so it's essential to set the attenuation on both the probe itself and in the oscilloscope channel menu. The probe has a switch that slides to either option. In our lab, we'll have the 1x or 10x option, and then on the other probes in the other lab room, the 10x or 100x option. To change the probe setting on the oscilloscope, select your desired channel, then select probe settings, and then probe attenuation. On our 4-channel oscilloscopes, once you switch the physical contact on the probe between 1x and 10x, the graph automatically updates and the vertical divisions adjust accordingly. On the 2-channel models, you will have to update the channel settings so the scope knows whether the probe is in 1x or 10x mode. Why consistency matters. It is important to be intentional and aware of the settings all probes are on. Remember, channel 1 and channel 2 attenuation settings on the probe do not have to match each other, but each probe must match the respective channel setting in the oscilloscope. This keeps our measurements consistent, avoids scaling confusion, and allows us to gather better results and make more accurate observations and qualitative analysis. In cases where you might want to use different attenuation settings, make sure to document and provide reasoning for doing so. This can help communicate with your peers or someone reading your data. Thank you for watching.